Hey everybody, it's Scott, and today I'm going to be bringing you a overview of all things zombies coming out here with Black Ops 6. I'm going to be talking about new features, returning features, all those things, my thoughts on them, what I like, what I dislike, what I think they could change. But overall, I think this is going to be a pretty positive video. It really looks like they've listened to all our complaints about Cold War and just improved on it. Really looks like Cold War 2.0 from what I've seen so far and the gameplay I've seen, and it just looks like it's just straight up improved. Pretty much everything that we've asked for, and things that I only dreamed of. Things that I remember sitting in the basement talking to my friends about playing Black Ops 1 Kino split screen, talking about things like saving and quitting like zombies games or like things like that. Those are things that I never would have even dreamed of happening, and so it's super exciting. So overall, I think this is going to be a positive video, but let's get into it. So we're going to start out with Essence and Salvage, I guess, system. Start out with points here. I think it's fine. I mean, there isn't a change from Black Ops Cold War. It's the exact same. I would prefer there to be a Black Ops 1, 2 type system. Black Ops 1, 2, and 3, and World at War, all the old games type system for points. I just feel like it matches better. But if you were to do something like that, then you would also have to change, like you'd have to completely change the entire weapon system and weapon upgrade system and everything about it, which is a completely different conversation. Like, we're talking going all the way back to spawning with a pistol, which I just don't think they're going to do, because I don't think they're ever going to do that again, unfortunately. Just because I think Activision is pushing being able to spawn with whatever gun you want and blueprint and stuff to incentivize people buying weapon bundles and stuff like that, which actually I was surprised they even had the set crew system, kind of. I mean, it's just operators with extra voice lines that are actually meant to be in the story, but you can still use other operators, so I guess they didn't really change much with that. And you can still spawn with a pistol if that's what you choose to do, but it's not like a set thing, and it really just messes up the progression of the game, in my opinion. Like, I'd much prefer you to spawn with a pistol, because then you actually have an incentive to work your way through the map, maximize points. It's a dangerous time, you know, there's risk and reward to it. You have to be skilled enough. I mean, not super skilled, you have to be skilled enough. There's fun in buying a wall weapon that isn't as good, but it will kind of just get you to where you need to go to get a better wall weapon, or hit the mystery box, and then there's incentive to hit the mystery box because you're going to potentially get a better weapon. And that's another thing with Cold War 2, with the weapon upgrade system and just the guns in general, like at their base level, they're all like the same. You're getting variety in like how it looks and how it fires maybe, and like the damage per bullet and stuff like that. But there's no like stinkers, and there's no like really good guns. It's not like the difference between getting like the Pharaoh in Black Ops 3 or getting like the KN94, or like in Black Ops 1 you would, you know, obviously start out with probably the worst starting pistol ever, and then you'd go to the mystery box and like 70% of the guns were like trash, 10% were like okay, and then the like top 20% was like what you were seeking. Like, that was what you were hitting the box for. I mean, if you got a ray gun or a thunder gun, I mean, fantastic. I mean, boom, wonder weapon. You know, obviously they were supposed to be a much better, but you could get, there was good guns and bad guns, and that really just made the game more fun, because it was either a challenge to survive with the bad guns that you were forced to use, or you get a good gun and there was actually excitement there, which goes back to the point system of there was a downside to using a submachine gun because it took longer to kill the zombies, but there was a trade-off because you get more points for killing the zombies. Now you can use any gun you want. There's like no variety in the sense of how they like work down to a point system and like a difficulty standpoint, and it just doesn't feel the same. I think you get what I'm saying. And then that also ties into the salvage system, where I like it better than the Cold War system, where it's one type of salvage and all the salvage is for your guns, like upgrading your guns to do more damage, which is fine. That is a cool like system. I kind of just wish they'd put double tap in there instead. Like, get rid of the salvage system, put double tap in, make some weapons good, make some weapons bad, change the point system back. That'd be great. But it's not a terrible system. It is better than the Cold War system in the sense that there's just one type of salvage, makes it simpler. I like the fact that AATs are now in. I think the best system for AATs we've ever had, to be honest. It's not in the Pack-a-Punch machine, which kind of makes it weird and wonky, like scrolling through menus and Pack-a-Punch and stuff like that. I don't know if that's going to be a thing or not. I don't know if it's going to be like Vanguard or if it's going to be like, I guess, MWZ or Cold War. But it would be cool to eliminate that. But yeah, no, I like that the AATs are in the salvage system. That's cool. But I'm not a big fan of the weapon rarity system. But it's okay. I mean, it's not terrible. It could be worse. But yeah, and then also, while we're at the Pack-a-Punch machine, it would be cool if they re-added the animation and added the jingle in. I was listening to a Black Ops Amazing video, and he mentioned that, and it's something that I also saw in the trailer, and so I think it would be cool if they changed that. But, I mean, out of all the things you can complain about, that's probably lower on the totem pole. I mean, it's just kind of like a vibey thing, but kind of an old school, kind of like nostalgia thing, but you can never make the zombies community happy. I mean, we're always going to have someone to pick a bone in the mountain. It's never going to be perfect, but that's just something I noticed. Main quest, I hear a couple of things about it. If it is what they're saying it is, where it's like a Cold War Easter egg, but it's just harder, more difficult, where it's closer to Black Ops 3, maybe midway point between those two, I'd say that's pretty good. That's probably alright, as long as the steps are fun and replayable to do, like in Cold War, but they're not as easy to find. Maybe that's the balance point. I'm not a person that's really hunted Easter eggs on day one. I'm kind of the person that comes in with guides afterwards, so it doesn't really feel like they're that much more difficult to me. The difficulty really feels like the difference between Easter eggs is how annoying the step is to complete, or how hard the mechanic is to get to work. Like Mimic Step on Firebase C, for example, would be like a hard step compared to like just a normal Easter egg step. So I don't know if that's what I think. I think what people are saying is that it was too easy to find, so if they make it a little bit harder to find but still easily replayable and fun to replay, I think that's fine. But it really seems like they're going with the right direction of it. I don't really have any complaints with that. Obviously, we haven't seen anything on it or really heard any more about it, so there's not really much more to talk about. I mean, we don't really have any more information on it, except for the guided mode, which, again, I think is fine, especially since it's coming a couple weeks after we're going to be doing all the hunting. But that is something I'm planning on doing this year, is hunting for the Easter egg on day one. So obviously, it's kind of a obvious decision to not have it come out with the map, because that would just ruin it for everyone. But I have zombies players like friends and stuff that are just getting into zombies, and I think it'll be helpful for them to have a way to kind of be introduced to zombies. So I can see where they're coming from. I don't have any problems with it, and I do like that you don't get the rewards from completing that. It's just a fun way to get to know these Easter eggs, but you're not actually gaining anything from it besides learning how to do them or learning kind of how it works, and something that then everybody can experience. And then Exfil obviously returning, great, no complaints about that. I mean, there's nothing really to talk about it. It's a good mechanic. Omni movement, another thing we're just probably gonna have to wait for the game to come out to really like get a feel for it and play with it and actually kind of form an opinion on it. But it sounds good at a base level, just being able to move in every direction at the same speed and being able to like dive backwards, or like kind of like the Helldivers movement where you're like throwing your back and you're like shooting stuff. Sounds cool. Sounds like it'll be a good thing. Hopefully it doesn't change the skill gap too much. Like hopefully we're not going from training maneuvering around zombies being like a big skill gap to being much easier, and then kind of taking away from that. Honestly, I don't see that happening. Could be a potential issue. Probably not. Looks good. Looks like it's going to be fun. From what I've heard from people like Chopper, who have talked extensively more about it and stuff in their videos, having played the game, seems like they're saying it's a good thing, and it might be able to be improved on a little bit, but it seems like they're saying it's a good feature, and it worked well, so I'm excited to try it out. The HUD is another big thing, where it's like, in Black Ops 4, that was one of the things that a lot of people really hated about the game, like just looking at the game, like besides from like the graphics being weird, HUD itself just being so trash. I mean, even for me, I mean, like I don't like. I mean, like, the game is fine. I'm not a big Black Ops 4 hater. I'm also not a big Black Ops 4 lover. But that's another one of those things. Same thing with Cold War. Why do we have to have all this clutter, mini map, compass, damage, things floating, health bars, and perks are kind of in a weird spot, and like all this stuff everywhere. It's just like, it's not something that is serious enough to be like something that is such a huge problem that I will stop playing a zombies game because of it. But it is something that I'm really happy that they're changing. Like, I'm really happy that they're going in and they're doing different preset things, like a more Black Ops 3 style HUD, and then like the HUD that they chose to make, or then like more customizable. You can remove stuff, add stuff, change stuff. I'm really happy to hear that they're adding more customizable things to it. It's just something that you're gonna start off playing with their HUD that they started with, and then as you're playing, you're like, I kind of wish this, I kind of wish that, or that would be cool, or the game would look more clean, or I'd prefer this, and you're going to be able to change that, and I think that's a splendid idea. It was another one of those things where it was like, me and my friends would talk about this kind of stuff, playing zombies, like playing Cold War and playing Black Ops 4, it'd be like, it'd be cool if you could make this minor change to the HUD, like, can I take this little PNG I have here of my perks and move them over here? Can I take my field upgrade and move it over here? It would be, I would like it set up that way. I'd prefer that. I think it would look cleaner. Now, seems like you're going to be able to do that. I think, I mean, from what I understand. I might be wrong, but if that's the case, that'd be pretty awesome, and great feature. I'm super glad they're adding it. Black Ops 6 being always online, in the context of all the features that they're giving us with that, is perfectly fine. I mean, if you don't have an internet connection, how are you going to even download the game in the first place? There is no reason you should be playing the brand new Call of Duty that requires brand new, I mean, realistically, it requires new consoles or like a newer PC to be able to play well, or like stably. You should not have an internet connection. I understand people were first complaining about like, oh, what if my internet goes out, the power goes down, I'm going for like a world record high round. They've added the save and quit feature. Fantastic. Another one of those things, I think I mentioned it earlier, me and my friends would dream about stuff like this, and they've added it. You can now get to round 55, but you gotta wake up for work tomorrow. You can save and quit the game, come back to it the next night. Amazing feature. There's nothing negative about this. I heard someone saying that people might be able to exploit it for high rounds or something, but I mean, if it's a glitch, I mean, it's not a feature, it's a glitch. That's not a real concern of mine. I have nothing bad to say about this. It's just an amazing feature, and I'm so glad they added it. And honestly, I'm awestruck. I can't believe they added something like this. And to further the online connection point, players being able to join at any point in time during a game, or if they lag out around 3-5, they can join back with all of their stuff like that they lagged out with. Amazing feature. I have friends, I've grown up with friends, I myself have grown up with terrible internet. Stuff like that happens all the time, and it's always just a big buzzkill, and it just sucks, and it's just an amazing fix. And it's something that probably should have been added a long time ago, but I'm glad it's finally here. And there's only one thing I have to say about it, and it's the same thing that Mr. Dog JD said in one of his videos about there needs to be some kind of filter system, because the way they say it is like anybody can join your match. Does that mean if I close my lobby, it's invite only? Does that mean if it's an open lobby, anybody can join my zombies match in session? Like, what does that do to like world records? What if I'm going for around 100 solo and somebody just decides to join my match? Like, there needs to be some kind of filtration system where you have to vote for that person to join your match, or the party leader decides if that person can join your match, or something like that, like Mr. Dalek JD was saying. But I think if that's just something that they didn't mention because I thought it was obvious, great, sounds great, no complaints there. Now, moving on to perks, ammo mod, field upgrades. There is a new system, and that system with the perks and ammo mods and field upgrades, like Cold War, is you can upgrade them. Like, you know, there was tiers in Cold War, you can upgrade your perks, get new abilities, upgrade your field upgrades, new abilities, upgrade your ammo mods, get new abilities. But in this one, there, rather than just getting all 6 upgrades, there's 3 minor upgrades and 3 major, so 6 in total. and you can only pick one minor and one major. You basically are building kind of a class with your perks. So the perks are going to be able to are doing different things for different people based off of what you picked. I mean, the base effect is still there, but your upgrades are going to change based off of what you pick. I think it's an overall cool system. It's something that I definitely think they should bring in game. You upgrade, you get the Ethereum crystals or whatever it is, and then you upgrade your perks outside in the game menu, and then in game, either at the perk machine, its own designated location or something to that effect, you can change what your loadout is. Like, you buy the perk and then you select your upgrades for it, and then you can go and pay points to change those upgrades in the match. Just bringing everything in game, but not just handing it to you. Same way with field upgrades, where it's like, I don't think you should be spawning with field upgrades. I think you should be going and buying or acquiring field upgrades in game, and then pay a price, whether it be, doing certain steps or paying essence or salvage or something like that to change your field upgrade in game. I don't think it should be a menu thing. It's the same problem with Black Ops 4, where you had your set 4 perks. It might not be as drastic, but it is sort of like that. Cold War, I didn't like that if you wanted to change your field upgrade, you just go into the menu and swap it. I don't think that... Well, obviously, I don't think spawning in with them in the first place is something that's good for game progression, but I don't think that's good for gameplay either, just being able to swap it in the menu. So I think they should bring these things more in-game. Maybe that's not as big of a deal, and they'd rather spend dev time and budget somewhere else than coding all that stuff in and making like a small quest to acquire your field upgrade every game. But there could be more stuff to it. I mean, I want to say it would be really cool if there was an exclusive field upgrade to every map that you had to go on a quest to acquire. Kind of like the specialist weapons in Black Ops 3, which they kind of ruined that in Black Ops 4. But that might be getting a little out of hand. And then as far as ammo mods, I mean, it's just ammo mods. I mean, I don't have any complaints about it. It's pretty much the exact same thing, except they're bringing it over to salvage, which I already mentioned earlier, and how that was, I like that change. And weapons and loadouts, they're bringing back the Black Ops 3 weapon kit system. Fantastic. I love that idea. That's what I've been asking for. And when in Cold War they made that change where it was just randomized attachments, I hated it. I wanted the weapon system back, and I didn't want to create preset classes and then have to apply blueprints to weapons. It just all the menu stuff in game. I don't want to open my pause menu and be applying blueprints and changing field upgrades in the game. I want it already to be there, or like with the weapon kit system that they're going to add, or I want to have to do something in game to acquire that feature. I don't want to just in a menu. It feels so wrong in Zombies. It just doesn't I hate it. Okay, I don't want to do that. So I love that they're bringing this back once again. Really wish that you're spawning with a pistol. I really think that they need to add a hardcore mode, kind of like how they did in Black Ops 4. They had like a hard mode, but not like a difficulty system like that, but just hard mode where you're not allowed to use any perk upgrades or field upgrades, like not field upgrades, but field upgrades, or like ammo mod upgrades. It's just the base of everything, and it's a 2-hit down system, 5-hit down with Jug. They can keep armor because they probably balance the game for armor, or they definitely balance the game for armor, so you should be able to keep armor. And you just spawn with a pistol, and it would just make everything so much better, but they're probably not going to do it, and maybe it wouldn't because the game wasn't built like that anyway. But one thing that they are doing that I'm a fan of is melee slots. So now, when you're going into the game, you can preset a melee weapon for your slot, so it's no longer a primary weapon that you spawn in like with Cold War. You have whatever melee weapon you choose in your melee weapon slot. So if I was in Cold War, and I equip the scythe in my melee weapon slot, I'd still spawn in with my gun, but if I melee, I take out my scythe and melee. And then, I think that's a good system, and I'm glad that they added a perk for it too, because, I mean, the new perk, at first I was kind of like, this is kind of stupid, I mean, no one's going to really use that, but now there's actually a purpose for it. It kind of reminds me of that one World War II perk. I think they said that it was in Infinite Warfare as well, but I don't remember ever seeing it in there. But I only ever really played Zombies Spaceland. But yeah, so it's probably not something I'm realistically going to be using. But I think it's cool that they added a new melee system. I know I have friends that are big melee fans, and they can now unlock new melee weapons, equip them to a melee slot, and buy this new perk to have increased melee damage. High round community, and how they're adding a limit of 3 self-revives per game, whether it's co-op or solo. Fantastic idea. I still think it would be cool if they just tied the self-revive to the quick revive as a base thing for getting the perk. You can buy it 3 times around. You can't. It's not like you can stop buying quick revive, but the revive effect only works 3 times. I think that'd be kind of cool, because then you could just have the quick revive machine and spawn like how it always is. And that's also another thing. I don't like that like all these machines are online or like on power before you turn on the power. I think it should just be quick revive in the spawn room. If you want your extra life, you can buy it. If not, you don't have to buy it and spend the points. But that's the only machine that's on until you turn on the power. That's another gameplay progression hurting system. I feel like it could just be solved by like a simple change like that. Gobblegum, no complaints. They took it from Black Ops 3, a cool system that was regrettably microtransactions, and they made it not microtransactions anymore, and they made it way cooler, and all they did was improve it, and it's just so zombies. Gobblegums are so iconic. It's so awesome. All of the new ones that I've heard that they're adding, and all of the returning ones that are either the exact same or even better than they used to be, they all sound fantastic. They all sound like really fun to use, and I just love that they changed the system from Liquid Divinium to now it's just every like 5-ish rounds you have a chance of earning between 1 and 3, and that's just amazing. I mean, and then not using them when you take them from Goblin Machine, only using them when you actually like eat them by selecting them on your D-pad when you want to use them, and if you die while holding them in inventory, you don't consume them. Amazing system. I just had no complaints about it. I'm assuming they're probably going to throw those in bundles, kind of like how they did with MWZ with different like ray gun cases and stuff like that. So I'm assuming it's just going to be like, hey, we're selling you the zombie skin and then a little pat on the butt with a couple perkaholics, but it doesn't sound like that's going to be your main way of getting it. It's kind of just like their little way of throwing extra items into bundles to entice people to buy them more, which I'm fine with because I'm not going to buy the bundles either way. Armor's coming back. It's no longer going to be in those Ostrom machines, which I think is a good change. It's now going to be a wall buy, and you're going to have to insert the plates like in MWZ. Honestly, I think this is all good changes. Having to buy better armor vests, and then keeping on top of your armor in your inventory, and then being able to apply that. I think it's just a better system because it's kind of overpowered. It's like this overpowered system where you get all this extra health, and so I think it should take more time and skill and management of it to keep it kind of up to pace, rather than how it was in Cold War. You kind of just had a bunch of it, and then you were constantly picking it up from the old kick drops, and then you got to go just like buy it from like a station and stuff. I like the new system better. Let's talk boss zombies real quick before I go. I don't mind the sound of these spider zombies popping out of zombies, evolving into the flying bugs, and then eventually evolving into those like thrasher things. It sounds okay to me. It kind of just sounds like a catalyst zombie, but better. It's got more progression. But one thing I was kind of disappointed to, and this is just a shot in the dark. I mean, it's a long shot. I mean, this would take a lot of dev time to complete. I was kind of hoping that like fanged, like long teeth, like zombie that was in that tank was a new special zombie. So I was kind of disappointed. I was theorizing that it maybe was like kind of like a disciple type thing, or maybe like a spirit from like Doom Eternal, where it comes in and like electrifies or blue magics all the zombies around it, and they get all fast and crazy, just like full on like launch 9 tiger type stuff, like just take you out. But if you hit him in the head with a adequate amount of damage, like a small amount of damage, like maybe 5 shots from SMG or like 1 shot from a sniper or something like that, he instantly dies and kills all the zombies under his control. So you can strategize with it, where it's like you can get him to infect all the zombies in a horde, and then pop his head with a sniper rifle and kill the whole horde in 1 shot. So there's kind of a gameplay system to it. So I was out there just like speculating the heck out of this zombie, and it was just a
a normal zombie with a different model. So that was a little disappointing. But we need to take what we can get here. They're giving us a lot of good features, and there's people complaining about like the pack-a-punch system or the gobblegum system or whatever it is. I mean, you're never gonna please the zombies community. I'm pretty sure the devs are doing their best, and Treyarch seems like they're doing their best, and they haven't even gotten a good shot at zombies. They haven't gotten a normal development cycle with a normal just shot at zombies since Black Ops 4, which, all things considered, was a pretty good game. So I think we should really give them a chance here, and who knows, we might be entering a new golden age of Call of Duty. So yeah, that's all my thoughts on the blog post, all the new gameplay systems, and just news we have about zombies. I could get more specific about like Easter egg rewards and wonder weapons that we see, and just, you know, the new maps and stuff, and my thoughts and of how they look and stuff. But that's pretty much just all my thoughts on the maps in general.